Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be doing a recap for the movie Dogs Don't Wear Pants. Before getting into our video, subscribe to our channel to avoid missing updates. Spoiler alert! The film begins with a man and his wife and his daughter. The man is drifting in and out from waking up. The daughter and the wife go swimming in a lake from which only the daughter comes back. The man jumps into the lake to save his wife. Juha loses his wife as she drowns while entangled in a fishing net he has left out in the water next to where they are staying. Unable to save her and nearly killed himself, he was forced to raise their young child alone. Several years after his wife drowned, widower Juha finds himself emotionally distant as he raises his daughter Ellie. Juha's prolonged emotional paralysis is helpful for his job as a surgeon where blood and guts showed do not bother him. Still, it is a problem when developing meaningful new relationships. To get sexual satisfaction, he wears his wife's dress and perfume. When Ellie wants a tongue piercing for her birthday, her father offers no resistance. Juha happily accompanies her and he wanders off during the session to find that the building also hosts the lair of a professional dominatrix. Mona assaults him upon his intrusion. Assuming he was a client, she beat him with his thumbnail smashed in. He enjoys asphyxiating himself because it causes him to have hallucinations of reunions with his lost love, his wife. He visualized a naked swim in the water. His first encounter appears to be non-consensual with little negotiation between the two. Then he and his daughter go home. The next day when Ellie went to school, she showed those piercings to her friends, but then the boys made fun of her so she removed the piercing. At the same time, Juha's colleague warns him that if he approves tongue studs, he will stifle Ellie's rebellion. He then said that his boyfriend had a piercing like that and it had a name and he understood them in principle on the sexual side. Juha then goes to the dominatrix because he wishes to be choked unconscious almost to death so that he too can drown feelings of grief and despair. On the other hand, Mona gives him a ball to hold while strangling him so that if he begins to lose consciousness, the ball will drop and she will know to stop. Mona puts a plastic bag around him and tries to strangle him with it to experience hallucinations again. The following day, due to sounds from the kitchen, Ellie wakes up and finds that Juha is making breakfast. She came downstairs. Juha asked Ellie about her tongue. While dropping his daughter Ellie to school, she wondered whether he had called Satu or not, but he seemed to have forgotten about the ticket. She reminded him to make sure to get tickets to her performance. Mona works by the day as a physiotherapist. While working, she calls Juha saying that he would like to see her again. They meet again and do the same as that of the previous time. When he dropped the ball she gave him, she stopped strangling him at the time. He had a vision of him and his wife in the lake swimming. After he was woken up from that, he hugs and kisses Mona. Then Mona goes to her room. She tells him that he has no business there when he tries to enter. Juha then apologized to Mona, telling her that he wasn't aware of the things out there and he was very sorry, and next time if possible, he would like her to strangle him a bit longer. He also said that he had passed a health check and his heart was alright, and he asked if tomorrow also he could come and whether it is okay for her. After Juha had gone, Mona asked a lady to cancel her tomorrow's customer. The lady asked whether she could come or not. Mona says that she will come, but it is a different customer. When his daughter Ellie came to his room, he was sleeping naked the following day. His daughter Ellie and his colleagues had noticed the changes in him. When he was leaving the hospital, he got a call from Ellie asking to come to her performance, which he had forgotten, and he said that he was busy at work and Ellie should take the bus and see her there. When his colleagues saw him leaving, he said to Juha that they got one more operation and all the other colleagues were waiting for him in the operating room. When Juha's pass card fails to work, he walks away from his job saying that Ellie's concert is tonight. Meanwhile, Ellie misses the bus, then one of her friends gives her a ride to the place where the concert is being held. He skips his daughter's concert to see the dominatrix. Mona wears his ex-wife's dress and perfume. After tricking the dominatrix into prolonging the asphyxiation for too long, he passes out. She administers first aid and summons an ambulance. It appears that he wished to die while seeing his deceased wife. Juha's daughter arrives at the hospital in a state of distress. Her father claims to have seen her mom, but Ellie says that the drugs might have messed her up and orders her to leave. Later on, he will be required to wear a neck brace. He then visits a patient. He sees the patient from outside the door and the patient's guardian comes towards him by saying that Kaisa is fine and hadn't seen him for some time and asked about his neck injury. He said that he had a slight accident, he was strangled and it was his fault. Then he receives a package from the trauma unit in it that had all the items that he had worn during the accident. While seeing his co-worker, he removed all the items he had received from the trauma unit. The co-worker asks him why he is in the hospital and he isn't on sick leave. Juha replies to his coworker that he just came to make some calls. The coworker says that he better hear what he says, but not after Juha leaves. The coworker informs him that the board is concerned about his behavior and people saw Juha break that window, and the board thinks it is not acceptable behavior. They wish to conduct a psychological evaluation. During this conversation, Juha pulls his own damaged thumbnail off. Juha continues to call the dominatrix, but she ignores him. She then burns her hands, and when the tattoo artist with whom she shares a building offers her solve, she is asked if she wouldn't rather do something mundane some of the time. She declines by saying that she doesn't like ordinary stuff. Juha pursues the woman while pepper spray is sprayed on his face. Later, he treats his daughter's music teacher to dinner and presents her with his wife's perfume. They end up having sex at her house. He requests that she wear the perfume and strangle him. She agrees, but she also finds it amusing. Juha follows the dominatrix again, this time to her apartment. They talk and he offers her a deal. She can hurt him as much as she wants with no safe word, but she must strangle him afterwards. After one more time, he will go and she won't see him again. He follows her upstairs on all after she agrees. She tied him up and asked him to open his mouth. Juha asks what she is going to do with him. She replies that he already told her to hurt him as much as she likes and tells him she will pull out a tooth. He says that he thought by hurting means by hitting and all. He initially refused, but when she asked him to leave and asked him not to return, he agreed to pull the tooth. After some struggle, she extracts a tooth. She then wraps cling film around his face. She finally realizes that he came here to kill himself. She then tells Juha that she is not what he is looking for and doesn't do that. She releases him and begins sobbing. Juha consoles her. They exchange kisses. He slaps her and she doesn't slap back. He leaves as she shuts herself away in another room, however she returns with the dress he gave her. Meanwhile, Juha has returned to his home where his daughter is not present. He spots Ellie smoking in a park, and when she sees Juha and his cheeks are all swollen, he then lies and says that he went to a dentist, but Ellie doesn't buy that. Then he invites her to the Natural History Museum. Ellie rides off on her boyfriend's moped after he says he's met a nice lady. Then he goes to the hospital where he worked. His colleague says that Juha's psychiatric evaluation was reviewed and his psych evaluation was negative. He confesses to his colleagues that he lied. He later visits a BDSM club and sits at the bar. He appears to be enjoying himself while sipping a cocktail. He enters the dance floor and his dominatrix enters. He smiles and she reciprocates the smile. That's where the film ends. That's all we've got for today, guys. Don't hesitate to like the video and leave a comment telling us how much you enjoyed this movie. We'll see you in the next one. Till then, goodbye.